The last voicemail. In 2019, a woman named Karen Mills was found dead in her home in Ashland, Oregon. She had been dead for 3 days. But the night before her body was discovered, her phone called her daughter 3 times, and left a voicemail each time. What was on those recordings changed everything. Karen Mills was 58 years old, a retired schoolteacher. She lived alone after her divorce, in a small house on the edge of town. Her daughter, Rachel, lived 4 hours away in Portland. They spoke every Sunday. But on Saturday, November 9th, Karen didn't call. Rachel assumed she was tired. Maybe watching TV. She didn't worry. That was her biggest regret. At 2:14 a.m., Rachel's phone buzzed on her nightstand. She ignored it. She was asleep. At 2:47 a.m., it buzzed again. At 3:33 a.m., one more time. All 3 calls came from her mother's number. All 3 went to voicemail. Rachel listened to the voicemails the next morning over coffee. The first one was 41 seconds of silence. Just breathing. Slow. Steady. Then a faint sound she couldn't identify. Like furniture moving. She laughed it off. Mom must have pocket dialed, she thought. The second voicemail made her stop laughing. It was her mother's voice. But it wasn't words. It was humming. A children's song. One her mother used to sing to her as a child. Note for note. Perfectly on key. Rachel's hand trembled as she pressed play on the third voicemail. 3 words. Whispered. I see you. Rachel called her mother back immediately. No answer. She called neighbors. Called the police. Officers arrived at Karen's home at 10:42 a.m. They found her in the living room armchair. Still in her robe. A cup of tea on the side table, cold for days. The medical examiner confirmed she had been dead since Friday evening. Approximately 2 p.m. 12 hours before the first voicemail. Karen's phone was found on the floor beside the chair. Battery at 1%. The outgoing call log showed 3 calls to Rachel's number. At 2:14 a.m., 2:47 a.m., 3:33. Police believed a software glitch caused her phone to auto-dial. They said the breathing was HVAC noise. The humming, corrupted audio playback. The words, I see you, a ghost signal from a neighbor's call. But Rachel knew her mother's voice. And neighbors reported something the police report left out. The house directly across from Karen's had an outdoor security camera. Between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. on the night of those voicemails, it captured a figure standing on Karen's front porch. Still, for 2 hours, face never turning toward the camera. Police were never able to identify who it was. When Rachel was shown the footage, she went pale. Because the figure was wearing her mother's robe. Karen Mills was buried on November 17th. Rachel received one final voicemail 2 weeks later. The number was her mother's. The phone had been buried with her. The voicemail was 3 seconds long. Just a door creaking open. Police closed the case as unexplained mechanical error. Rachel moved cities. She still doesn't answer calls after midnight. And she never listens to voicemails alone. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe. Because next week, we're covering something far worse. The family that kept receiving emails from their dead son's account for 4 years.